Auburn flips a big four-star defensive lineman from the Michigan Wolverines, and we give some predictions on who will be the Auburn's major statistical leaders this year. Let's talk about it on this live edition of the Uptempo podcast.
You are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
Game week, baby. Game week. Dustin Smith, Blake Lane, back with another live edition of the Uptempo podcast. Blake, we got some college football yesterday. How about that rambling wreck of Georgia Tech, brother?
Put it on them. Put it on them. Florida State going all the way to Ireland and coming back with an L. DJU. 9 to 5s are available. So, jet lag. That's tough, man. That's tough because they, look, Florida State complained about not getting in last year. It is what it is. You went out and you got beat by 60, and then you open up your season and lose to Georgia Tech, a program that is on the rise, but they've been down in the slums for quite a while. So it's good to see Georgia Tech being good again, right? I think that's a positive for college football. Is them getting back on the map and competing like they once did. So yeah, man. Hey, week 0. I know a lot of people don't take it serious, but it was a fun weekend. I mean,
had a blast yesterday.
Yeah, you had Montana State make that incredible comeback. That was a game where it was 31-14. They come back and the defense made some stands, and it was a really, really good football game. And then SMU, they got all they could handle out at Nevada, right? Nevada had their number for 3.5 quarters. Just had them off balance, man. SMU couldn't figure it out at the line of scrimmage. And Nevada's quarterback, he made quite a few plays with his arms and legs. So that was a great game. Rhett Lashley ends up getting it done there. And then the nightcap, Hawaii and Delaware State. Look, I don't know if you got Spectrum Sports or anything like that, or you had any way to watch that game, but I found a way. And look, it wasn't a great football game, but it was football, and it was something to watch at midnight last night. And the Rainbow Warriors found a way to win that football game 35-14. And it was just an all-around great start to college football, man. I don't think it could have kicked off any better. If you're a diehard college football fan, you had something to keep you entertained yesterday. There wasn't blowouts or anything like that, man. It was a great day for college football. And look, the ACC, that thing's up for grabs. Because I don't know if they get a team. I don't know if they get a team in the college football playoff. You better hope Miami beats Florida this week. All right, because if they don't, that ACC is in trouble. It looks like a very weak conference. So we'll see.
Yes, sir. College football already off to a good start, and we're not even at week 1, man. But before we get in here, like I said, it's game week. So we're going to make our predictions on who will lead Auburn in the major statistical categories, who will be Auburn's tackle for loss leader, tackle leader, rushing yards, and all that. But before we do, a big flip that I'll be real with you, Blake, I wasn't expecting. I don't think a whole lot of people outside of the football facility in Auburn were expecting it. Maybe the ones at Michigan got wind eventually. But Auburn flips 4-star defensive lineman Nate Marshall, 6'4", 265, Oak Park, Illinois. And now Auburn was already 5th, according to Rivals and 24/7. This now bumped Auburn up to 5th in the On3 rankings as well, with 23 commitments. So now Auburn in all 3 major services has a top 5 class. More commitments are coming pretty soon. So we'll only continue to rise on that front. Blake, I did the pod for our members watching this tape about an hour ago before we went live. I can honestly say I've never done one of these pods where we watch the tape for a 4-star defensive lineman where I felt like he could be a 3-star wide receiver.
Yep.
It's just not that. It kind of speaks for itself, right? 6'4", 265, but half of his highlight tape is at receiver. And he's out here juking dudes and stop cuts and all this and boxing guys out and going up and using that big frame. Now, obviously, he's not going to play wide receiver at Auburn, but I'm just saying, like, the athleticism
Yep.
was unreal. It kind of looks like Broderick Shull over there on the offensive side, as far as just like, whoa, you can play right away just based off of your athletic profile. There were several plays where he is just he's blowing the quarterback up, and they're designed running back plays where he's sacking the quarterback, basically. I mean, he's getting
Yep.
there before they can even get the handoff off. That's the main thing that stood out to me on the tape was the explosiveness,
Yep.
just first step, that jump, and then an absolute freak athlete at 6'4", 265. And when I think about putting him down there with an Antonio Coleman, with Jordan Crawford, and a Malik Autry, my God. I mean, every highlight, Blake, his hands in the dirt.
Mm-hmm.
The first one, I mean, he's miles ahead of his edge rushers. And then if you watched Thursday night on ESPN2, you saw an edge rusher committed to Auburn 2025 class put on an absolute show. So I'm looking at all these guys on the front, and I mean, they're all mean. They're all physical specimens. They're all athletic freaks. Just it's unreal what Coach Williams is doing in his first full cycle as the defensive line coach. But Blake coming in and flipping a 4-star offensive lineman from Illinois, a lot closer to Michigan, and he was committed to the defending national champions. And we get him in the boat, man. This is a big time get for Coach Williams and the Auburn Tigers.
And if you remember, we felt like we lost some momentum with this recruitment around Big Cat Weekend. All right, and some people thought that maybe we were out of the race, and it didn't feel like Nate Marshall would be coming to Auburn. And all of a sudden, you start hearing things, and you're like, "Hey, the Nate Marshall train is heating back up. Auburn could be there." And then all of a sudden, you get a phone bomb, and it's like, hey, here we are. For this Auburn staff to be pulling kids from the defending national champions, uh, uh, a university a football program that prides themselves on defense, and that's how they won a national championship last year. You got 4th and goal on the 2-yard line against Alabama, the best college football program in the history of the sport. And what happened? They blow the play up. Michigan dominated the line of scrimmage. That's how they won a national championship last year. You saw it in the title game against Washington. They gave Penix everything. They threw the kitchen sink at him. And so for you to go in and say, "Hey, I know what they offer, but we're offering this." We might have a first-year guy, all right? And he might have gotten questioned why he got the job. But he's proven himself right now. He's proven himself on the recruiting trail. I think it's huge for Auburn. I think it's huge just for you to go in and go 6-7, and you're flipping a kid from Illinois and from the defending national champions, who, like you said, is a freak athlete. I mean, playing wide receiver, 6'4", 265, and then flipping over on the defensive side of the ball and putting your hand in the dirt and abusing quarterbacks. He's filthy, man. And I think this was a massive get for Auburn. And, you can hear the little Twitter jokes and all that about, oh, well, he's just going there to go 6-7. He might have wanted to go to Auburn because the University of Michigan, they like to do things dirty and they like to steal signs and, they like McDonald's bags and all that good stuff. So maybe that's why, maybe he wants to play for Coach Hugh Freeze and staff. So once again, man, big pickup. Just this staff is relentless and they don't stop. They just keep coming and keep coming. And it speaks volumes to where we're going as a program. It's not going to stop. There's going to be more excitement. More excitement is coming here shortly. Yeah. It's going to happen. Things are in the works. So hang with us, and it's game week. So we're excited.
Yeah. Brett says that Marshall is supposedly a top 5 defensive tackle. Michigan's top commit. Freeze is in beast mode. Yeah. On3 has him as the 120th player overall, the 12th defensive lineman. 24/7 has him as the 80th player overall in the country, the number 12 defensive lineman. Rivals has him as a 29 overall player in the country, so eventually will be a 5-star on Rivals if that holds up. Number one defensive lineman in the country, according to Rivals. So, yeah, he's a big-time commitment, man, and you talk about pairing him up with Malik Autry down there at D-tackle.
Yep.
Hard to not be excited about that. And Daniel says, speaking of Malik Autry, Malik is planning on visiting Florida. He is going to be at Florida this week versus Miami. Malik's been to Auburn a whole lot. He lives right there in Opelika. He knows what Jordan Hare is all about. If you have the opportunity to go to Florida, Miami, or Auburn versus Alabama A&M, you'd probably go down there and catch that Florida-Miami game and then be back up in Auburn next week for Auburn versus Cal. So, no worries there, guys. I know that Malik – he's been every time he goes to visit somebody, Blake, they say he's going to flip. Here comes the beat writers from that school saying Malik's going to flip. But yeah, Malik's out here. He's the first commitment of this class, and he continues to be one of the main ones recruiting guys. He's always out there being a vocal leader for this 2025 class. So I'm not worried about Malik at all.
Why waste your time with the fat Batman signals?
Right.
Like,
right.
If I'm going to flip, I'm not going to be actively recruiting and engaging with fans and saying, hey, he's about to flip. Like, here's you a Batman signal and all that stuff. I don't see it. I feel like he's a guy that's close to home, and he wants to change the face of the program. He wants to be one of those guys that lays the groundwork. And, hey, take your visits, man. Like, I remember when Rusall did it a couple years ago. He come to Auburn, like it was like he come to like 6 games, and we were like, "Oh, he's flipping to Auburn. He's flipping to Auburn." And he was like, "Nah, I ain't flipping to Auburn." And he was like, "It was just free games." He was like, "Free tickets." It was just that's how it goes, So let them take their visits. I still think he's locked in, and let the kids go on the trips and have fun, man.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get over here and make some predictions. So we're going to start off with passing. There's no point in asking who was going to be Auburn's number one, in passing yardage. That's obvious. It's going to be Peyton Thorne, unless injury or whatever. But so we decided to set an over-under on this, and we put it at 25. So over-under, does Peyton Thorne throw for over 2,500 yards? Blake, I got over, but I got him barely clearing it, dude. I don't got him getting to 26. But I do got it. But I do got him getting to 25. For me, it's really about completion percentage, get this 24, 25 mark, and turnover ratio from PT. But I think that he's got enough weapons that he is going to get over 25. I can't predict too much more than that because I still think it's going to be a run-heavy offense.
Yeah, if you'd have put this number at like 27, I probably would have went under. I believe in PT. I think PT is going to look much better this year. My thing is Hugh has preached that this offense is still going to run the football. And so when I really sit on that number of over 2,500, I think he gets there, but I'm with you. It's not much more than 2,500. He might get to 26, but if he goes over 26 to 27, 2,800, I mean, we're having a hellacious year. All right, because I still think we're going to be running the football. And so, I'm with you on the over. Once again, turnovers, cut them down. Don't need double-digit picks. Let's cut that number in half. Let's cut it from 10 to 5. And I think you have a great, great final year of college football.
For sure. Kind of the same here. I think it's not out of the question to say, okay, Jarquez is going to lead in rushing yards. That's kind of obvious one. So let's do the same here. Let's say at 1,100. Over, under 1,100. Again, I'm going to go slightly under. I think Jarquez finishes with like 1,045, 1,050, somewhere in there. So I'll go slightly under 1,100, but I do think that he gets to that 1,000-yard mark. But I mean, you've been predicting big years from Jeremiah. I think that Damari has a nice season. So I think Jarquez has a great season. It's just there's going to be, I think all three of those guys get a significant amount of carries this year.
Yeah, running back by committee. If he gets that first game in last year, he probably goes over 1,000. And so I think you're going to see the same production from Jarquez. He had big runs last year. One that sticks out to me is the big run against Ole Miss when he really started getting his feet up under him and get back in that game shape and getting going. I still think you're going to see plays like that from Quez, and I think he's going to have a big year. I'm with you. I don't know if he gets much more just because Damari's going to get carries, Jeremiah's going to get his action. Um, so yeah, I think he leads the room. I think he has a great year. I think he's going to be our workhorse, man.
Yeah. So then on to rushing touchdowns. I'm gonna go Jarquez here too as well. I'm gonna put a number on it, Blake. I'm gonna say 7. I'm gonna go Jarquez with 7 touchdowns out the backfield this year.
Hey, I can't disagree with that. Like I said, I think he's going to be our workhorse. You've seen what he's done in his career at Auburn. I mean, he's been just that dude. And if we get down inside the 5-yard line, who do you want the ball to go to? You want it to go to 27. And I think you can lean your hat on him and say, hey, go get me 6. So I'm with you on the rushing TDs.
Brett has a good question here. He says, is it unreasonable to think that we could get to 3,000 yards passing, 2,000 yards rushing, maybe not this year, but soon? Ooh, as I just kind of project like the players, I mean, like I said, I think PT is going to be in that 25 ballpark. Do I think that Hank gets 500? I don't. So no. And then, yeah, maybe the 2,000 yards rushing, because if you combined PT on the ground, you combine like speed sweeps, that kind of stuff. And then because you're definitely going to see stuff like that with Malcolm Simmons, Sam Jackson, and then Damari and Jeremiah having the years I think they're going to have. Brett, you know what? I'm going to say that I think we barely get that 2,000 yard mark you're talking about, Brett, but I can't go with the 3,000 on the passing. What do you say, Blake?
Nah, not this year. Maybe down the road. Let Hugh get his offense and get his guys in here, and then we can come back to this.
Yeah, for sure. That would be big time explosion right there. Yeah. Receiving yards. This is where it starts to get a little bit interesting because I think it's going to be spread around. But I'm going Cam Coleman, Blake. I think that Cam Coleman receiving yards. Give me 775. 775 for Cam Coleman this year. Now give me 8. Give me 8. I'm gonna go 8. Give me 810. 810 yards.
There you go. I'm with you with the receiving yards as well. On the same track here. I've preached all off season that Cam Coleman is a freshman on paper, but he's not on the field, and he can't be, right. Like the expectations are there, and you got to show up. And I think 8 will. Like I think he's that guy, And I just want PT. Don't be reserved and scared to let it go. Throw the ball to 8. Put it in his hands. Get it to him. I think he's just the type of playmaker that will take the top off of a defense quick, fast, and in a hurry. He's going to give you that vertical threat that Auburn has lacked for many, many years. And it's fun to sit here and be thinking, you look over in the comment section and you see all these receivers, getting put in the comments, and you're like, hey, we got a ton to choose from. It's fun. That's exciting. Finally, Auburn has some guys that can get some separation and catch the football and make something happen after contact. I think it's going to be a fun year. I just think Cam Coleman is one of those guys that I think he could play 2 years of college football and go pro. If allowed, I think he could. I think he could seriously play 2 years of college football and go pro. I think he could skip that 3rd year. I think that's the type of player he is.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I mean, he's it's just unreal. It's something that we haven't seen, and we're less than a week away from finally seeing it, baby. Brad has a good question. He says, if Cam has 800, what do I have KLS having? About what he had last year, somewhere around 550 to 600 yards. I think Perry will be somewhere around that 450 to 500 yard range. I think it's really going to be kind of just spread out around there. Let's see what you got.
Auburn Dad's comment, bro, got me cracking up.
Which other? Yeah, I got him started here. He says, "You acting like the price is right." Yeah, I know, man. I know.
Gotta get that number right.
I gotta get it right, dude. I gotta get it just right. 810. I want 810. Ryan says goals per game. Hey, this is balling. Yeah, these are the goals. These are the goals.
That would be fun. That'd be an exciting year.
Yeah, that's a fact. All right, let's get on down to receiving touchdowns. Again, I'm going Cam Coleman. I said 800 yards. I'm going 8 touchdowns as well. Give me Cam Coleman. Like I said a couple weeks ago, 8-8 for number 8.
My receiving TD guy is Rivaldo Fairweather, and I think he's going to have an even better year this year. I think he is going to get in that middle of the field and eat for Hugh Freeze. You know how Hugh loves the tight ends. He loved Ingram at Ole Miss. He just boosted him into the NFL. Had a great career. Still in there doing it. Um, I like Rivaldo in the red zone. I just think that's going to be another weapon. And I like him to get double digit. I like him to get to 10, man. I really do. I think he's just going to have that year where he's going to actually get to play tight end this year. He's going to get to play his natural position when we're not throwing back shoulders, to our tight end. It's just you're not throwing 50-50 balls in the corner of the end zone to 13. So I just think you're going to have Perry, KLS, Robert Lewis, Cam Coleman. You're going to have Jeremiah out of the backfield. You're going to have Jarquez out of there. There's so many weapons.
Right.
And that's where I think Rivaldo eats.
Yeah, Blake, if Rivaldo has 10 touchdowns, then
watch it.
I hear you, man. I hear you. That's your big prediction. And
yep, bold one.
Bold, baby. I like it, though. Before we get over here on the defensive side, got a few announcements, guys. Look, Tuesday night, we are doing our big kickoff classic special, just like we did last year. Had a lot of guests come through last year from across the Auburn podcast scene, and it really was a good time. Everybody loved it. You guys really enjoyed it. So we're doing it again this year. So just come in here Tuesday night, 7 p.m. like you always do. And it's going to be a big, big episode. Going to have, I love our lineup. We got a big lineup planned for you guys, and we're really excited about it. Look, me and Blake been putting in the work, baby. Friday night, I went out to Gulf Shores, watched Gulf Shores take on Choctaw. Got 2 Auburn commitments, Mr. Jermichael Garrett, the 2026 4-star linebacker, and then 2025 commit 4-star defensive back Dante Core. Blake went over to his former high school and watched Mr. Shadarius Tootle play a little linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
So Blake, just kind of tell these people, man, they sign up for these memberships, what all kind of content they will be getting.
Man, look, $3.99 a month, JV squad. You see it listed right there. $5.99 a month is where you're going to have the most fun, though. Varsity squad, recruiting update videos. Like Dustin just mentioned, we had a great Friday night. We have interacted with these players, their families. It's been awesome, man. Just getting to talk to these guys and get to know them and things like that. And we will let you in on some of that info. And I think that's a great thing for the varsity squad that we give you guys. And then the game day group chat, I mean, it just stays pure electric in there. Come join us. We would love to have you. Gameplay with you. Go check out Dustin on the War Report Gaming channel right here on YouTube. It's just really cool what the work that Dustin does. He does this and then he goes over and he gets his gaming on, and I play. I upload my clips to Twitter and everything. If you want to play me, send me your gamer tag and we'll get a game in, and then watch the film. Like I said, we do all kind of stuff. Baseball. Dustin does basketball. We do a little football. It's all that good stuff and discounted merchandise, man. We're going to have some things this season that we are going to give away to you guys and have the opportunity to do. So it's going to be a blast, man. Join us up, become a member. The growth has been outstanding. We appreciate each and every one of you. War Damn Eagle.
Yeah, let's get to this 2,000 subs and a little merch drop.
Yeah.
Merch not for the long time members, man. So help us grow. And just did and you guys also know we do the film breakdowns for every commitment. So the Nate Marshall, just like I mentioned earlier, I just did the Nate Marshall one for our members. That will be up for you guys as well. When we get off of here, I'm doing the Jermichael Garrett and Dante Core. Yeah. So we stay working. We're out here building sources, getting intel, dropping that in the group chat for you guys, man. And also, if you're a member, you're free to DM us, ask us any questions, and we'll answer those for you. So interviews. And like I said, we got the guys coming on Tuesday night. We will share with our group chat who those people are. And if y'all got any questions, we'll fire those off to them as well. So good stuff, man. All right, we're going to get on moving to the defensive side of the ball. This is where it kind of gets fun. Some of these offensive ones are pretty obvious. You get over here to defense, and it gets a little interesting. So we're going to start off with sacks. And I ain't going to lie to you. Now, I went with Jalen, but I struggled with this one. And when I made all these picks, I made it in the mindset of I'm not going to worry about injury because, like, if injury happens, then obviously, this changes. But with Jalen, it's like your injury history is just kind of part of the story. So I almost went with Keldrick here, but I'm going for Jalen to stay healthy majority of the season and have that big year. And I'm going to put it at 10. I'm going to put Jalen right at 10. I think he can get them double-digit sacks this year.
I think you could have went with numerous guys here. There's a couple of guys that we really looked at and we were, it could be him. Look, if Jalen goes down or something like that, we hope not, obviously. But you got Kieron Crawford, and he's right there. He's available. You're hearing great things about him. I just think that Jalen, the year that he had last year, and with him being hurt, if he comes back this year and is healthy, man, I can't see a world where it's not him. And I think he's going to make himself a lot of money this year.
Let me ask you a bonus question here. What freshman has the most sacks?
Oh man. That's a good one.
And we'll do it this way too. True freshman and redshirt freshman. So it can be one of the guys that redshirted last year, like a DJ Reed, or a guy that's coming in this year, like a Malik Blockton.
Gotta give me I'll go with Blockton.
Okay.
Man. Redshirt, that's tough. I'll go with Blockton because you hear him. He's going to be on the field early.
Yeah,
and he's moving people. Man, redshirt. Let me think about that for a minute, Dustin. Let me think about that.
I'm going with Brett's pick here with DeMarcus Riddick.
Yep.
Hearing that he's really coming on in camp, I think Malik will have more tackles for loss than Riddick will.
Yeah.
But as far as just pure sacks, I could see Malik getting like a sack and a half, and then I could see DeMarcus Riddick getting 2.5, maybe 3 sacks, kind of coming in off that edge and wrecking some havoc.
What do you think about
Brad? I forgot Amaris. Amaris is the answer. Yeah, Amaris is the answer. My bad.
That's a good. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
It's Amaris.
Yeah, a freak of nature.
Yeah, Blake. Think about this. We just forgot. We just forgot a stud. There's so many studs. Yeah. There's so many young cats. We just forgot the best one, dude. It's an amazing problem to have.
That's why you put me on the spot. I was like, man, brain scrambling. Let me think. It's just the talent that we're bringing in, man.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of y'all are saying Amaris. I got to get this one in real quick. More sacks on Milroe than we got on Brody Crow back in the day. Honk if you sack Brody. My pops had an old Dodge Dakota, and he had this bumper sticker on the back of that thing.
Man, Milroe, look, hard to get that cat down. That dude, look, I'll stand on it. I don't think he's the best quarterback, but as far as an athlete, I think he is a dog. And it's gonna be hard in Bryant Denny to get after him just because he can extend the play, and I thought he got better as the year went on last year. Dustin, I do say Brad right here. I was asking you, what about Waller too? And I'm glad Brad brought that up. I think that's a solid choice as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think for Waller, I'm kind of expecting to see him and Joe Phillips more at the end of the year. Like they're just a little bit rawer than some of the other guys, but yeah, for sure, Waller's a stud, and he's definitely going to be a guy that we see making plays eventually. And yeah, I mean, I'm saying that, and he might come out and have 3 or 4 sacks this year. Like, there's a lot of ballers. There's a lot of ballers down there, man. It's a nice problem to have. Moving on to the tackles for loss, we both went with Keldrick, Blake. So I'm going to kind of just give some of my numbers here for Keldrick. Look, give me 8 sacks for Keldrick this year, and then give me at least a dozen tackles for loss. Give me like 13. I haven't thought about that one too deep, but yeah, definitely going to lead the team in tackles for loss. I'm expecting in a first team all SEC year from Keldrick Falk. My expectations for Keldrick this year are through the roof.
And I think this is the year that it happens for Keldrick. And you saw last year, we've mentioned it multiple times, and he it took him a minute, It took him a minute as a true freshman to get his feet wet, get a feel for that SEC speed in those trenches, man. And Auburn, he had to play a lot last year, and Auburn wasn't deep, and he was on the field, so he got that experience. And I think this year you're going to see the beast of Keldrick Fall. I think this is the year where we're going to sit back and say, hey, we get him for one more year. We better enjoy it because he's going to go to the league and he's going to make a lot of money. All right. Keldrick, the growth from about game 4 last year to the end of the season, where you just saw a different guy. You just saw a different guy. And so coming into this year, I'm with you. I think he's going to eat, man. I think he's going to live in the backfield. I think he's going to, I think the tackling's going to get better. I think he's just going to be ahead of the curve in his sophomore season, Dustin.
Yeah, I agree with you. Ryan makes an interesting point. He says it could be a safety, nickel, or cornerback. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be the DJ Durkin system. It's going to be fun. I'm expecting these big guys, though, these big guys up front to really just eat this year under DJ Durkin. But Ryan, I wouldn't be surprised. That's a really good point, man. All right, so on to tackles. It's got to be less work, baby. It's got to be less work. Eugene Asante, man, big year coming from Eugene Asante. I think, you talked about this probably about a month or two ago. I think that Eugene, I'm not really predicting a bigger jump in numbers for Eugene.
Yeah.
I think it'll be around the same, statistically wise, but I think he'll play better. And I think he'll play better in the fourth quarter because he's not going to be so gassed out because there's going to be guys that can come in behind him and give him a break. We just saw him fade in the fourth quarter of games. Outside that Cal game, he went straight like Ray Lewis in Cal game and said, I'm going to throw the team on my back. I haven't seen a linebacker win a football game single-handedly in this day and age, but Eugene decided to do it that night. But other than that, man, especially at the end of the season, you saw him kind of wearing down in the fourth quarter of games because, my God, he's not coming off the field.
Yep.
I think that – so I'm not expecting this huge jump as far as his numbers go, but I think there's going to be another – his game – will take another step. And this is a guy talking about DJ Durkin's system. I cannot wait to see what he does in this system. Just all over the field, expecting a couple of interceptions. My God, Blake, if you control him like you do on the sticks, if you could control him, he would have all kind of interceptions. Tackles for loss, man, forced fumbles, sacks. I'm expecting a little bit of everything. And just, again, seeing what DJ Durkin can do with Eugene really, really fires me up, man.
I'm with you. I couldn't go with anybody else just because I think this guy is a leader. He puts his nose in every play. He's just that linebacker that gets it done, man. He's your leader on defense. And I think the one thing that I probably had to ask of him in coming into this year is just get a little better in coverage. And I think he's going to do that. I think DJ Durkin is going to have Eugene ready to play, man, ready to go. I can't go with anybody else but 9. I think he's that dude, and I think he's going to fly around the field. And I'm with you. I'm not saying that he's going to have 100 tackles or anything like that. I just think he's going to lead this team and getting the job done.
All right, Blake, last one, interceptions. And this one, I like our answers because these two guys are battling for the same position. I went with Sylvester Smith. You went with Caleb Wooden. Why is Caleb the choice here, buddy?
I go with Caleb Wooden just because I think he's got the experience back there. And when I talked to Simp told me he's the next guy. He was like, that dude, he's got the knowledge. He doesn't hesitate. He'll go make the play. And I just think he's going to be that guy back there. He loves to come up, play physical. He that first step's pretty quick. I know last year everybody's like, man, he's so slow when he picked that ball off. But look, Caleb's got that dog in him, man. And I think he's going to step right in and take over and do a hell of a job for the Auburn Tigers.
I went with Sylvester Smith because I'm just really high on him as a player. I think
Yeah.
that a redshirt freshman that is coming in and already giving a guy like Caleb, who is a good player, who is experienced, and he's already pushing for starting spot. It just tells me everything I need to know. I've been high on Sylvester since I watched the senior year tape. So I just think he's going to get in here. I think he's going to make really big plays. And I think it's going to be, I think 3 is the number. I think he gets the 3 and he leads the team. And I think that Caleb's I think all those guys are going to play, man. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
whether I think at the end of the season, when you look at the rep count, I think Caleb and Sylvester will be kind of even. Maybe Caleb gets a little bit more. And yeah, I was gonna you put that up, Blake.
Yeah.
The thing with Kay and Lee is it's kind of just lockdown over there is what I'm expecting, Brett. Will he get an interception?
Yep.
Yeah, he'll get an interception or two. But I'm just going to predict a safety because I think he's going to be a problem. I think that Kay Lee is going to be just kind of over there and erasing whoever he's guarding. And so I don't know how often they're going to look his way and how many chances he's going to get.
That's my thing. That's why I didn't take Kayan. It's just because I think he might get the Roger McCreary treatment. I just think it's just you're just not gonna see a lot of balls and a lot of opportunities over there, especially in like short yardage situations. I don't think they're gonna look that way, and that's why DJ James and Roger, like, they didn't put up the big numbers. Like Noah didn't put up, they didn't have these popping numbers, is because they didn't get the ball thrown their way because they were just shut down guys majority of the time. And I think Kayan's gonna get that same treatment.
Yeah, it's always funny. Because Carlton Davis got paid whenever it came time. Yeah. Whenever it became time for Carlton to get paid, the NFL got paid, and a lot of people were pulling up his numbers and going, "Why is this guy making $19 million a year? He doesn't have the interceptions." And it's like, well, because you forget he's over there, because you completely forget he's playing, because you're just not throwing it. His technique is so sound; he's just eliminating. And by the way, apologies in advance to our members. I don't have a whole lot of Dante Core highlights because it's the same thing. The receiver isn't open. The quarterback's not throwing it over there. And Dante's sitting there at that 6'1" frame. He's looking a lot like Carlton Davis, Blake. I've watched him 2 weeks in a row. I'm really getting excited seeing that young man.
Yeah.
But that lockdown corner out there. So that's kind of why I think Kayan Lee has a great year. I think Kayan Lee has like an all SEC type year. But like you said, that Roger McCreary, you're just not going over there. And if you go over there, Kayan's going to make a play. What freshman cornerback, Blake, of these young guys are you most excited to see? Because they're all going to have to play now.
Yeah, man. Look, I'll go not a freshman, but a transfer guy. And I'm going to go Antonio Kite. I'm a believer in him. I just think a guy coming over from Saban, and I like that. I want to see you in a DJ Durkin defense. I want to see you work with Crime Dog. Like, I just think he could be a guy that potentially works his way on the field, and hasn't been in the program, coming over from the arch rival, and let's see how it goes. I got super high expectations for him.
Yeah, the word out of the camp on Kite is he has the highest ceiling out of any of those guys. Is the consistency that he has to find. Still a young player, so if he can just find that groove, I'm excited to see Jalen Crawford, man, and I'm excited to see JC Hart as well. I think as Auburn fans, like, anytime we get a guy that's got like baby pictures and Auburn stuff, which JC Hart, long time Auburn fan, we obviously have a soft spot for that. So I want to see JC, the hometown boy. I want to see him succeed, but the ceiling on Crawford is through the roof. And this is why when we gave our predictions the other day, I said, like, man, there's going to be weeks where you're like, it's all coming together. And then there might be the next week where you're like, oh my God, what just happened? Because we are counting on a lot of young cats this year. We're counting on a whole lot of young cats this year. But I think it's going to be a blessing in disguise. Take them lumps now. Looking into 2025, I think you're going to have a roster that is ready to roll, and you're going to have some absolute dogs. And when we talked about Nate Marshall committing in the beginning of the podcast, Blake, and I talked about the defensive lineman that he's committing with. Just go back to last year's defensive line class. Same thing. We're looking at it like, oh my God, this is the best defensive line class we've had since Derek Brown. We're stacking them. Now
Yep.
we're stacking them. So where this program could be, and when you hear things like DeMarcus Reddick, he's not going to be able to redshirt. Bryce
Yep.
Kane, all the receivers. Like I remember around the spring, we were like, will there be a receiver, maybe Malcolm, maybe Bryce that has to redshirt?
Yep.
And it's like, no, they're not, because we need all of them. They're taking jobs
It's a
already.
fact.
Man, Blake, we're less than a week away, dude, and I'm so fired up to see this version of the 2024 Auburn Tigers. And I think, man, that this team is going to show everybody this program is headed in the right direction. And I think that as Auburn fans, the jokes are about to stop.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're about to stop, brother.
I'll tell you something that got me excited. And as an Auburn fan, look, we had a battle against this man for years, and it sucked watching all the success and them hold the trophies up and everything. But he retired last year, and he went up on the desk of College Game Day, and yesterday they were asking some questions to the panel, and he said, "I think Auburn's going to be the most improved team in the SEC." Now, when I heard that, I was like, "Dang, man! Like, for you don't have to boost your rival. Nick Saban don't like Auburn, all right? You don't have to boost your rival, but it shows me that he's telling the truth, and he means that. Like, he knows what their roster's about. He knows what Hugh Freeze is doing in the recruiting trail. He's not going to sit there and be oblivious to what's going on. It's just not who he is as a coach, as a person, whatever. And when you hear things like that from the greatest coach to ever walk this earth in college football, he meant that. And he said, "Hey, that dude," exactly, Brad. Like, that dude, he had my number a couple times. He had me down and out a couple times. So I got to give the respect, man. And just when you hear that, you can laugh at us and make the jokes and everything. But when it comes out of his mouth, I think you are going to see improvement, and I think he truly meant it. And I think he knows that Hugh is on the way. Like, Auburn is they're knocking on the door. Oh, we're 5th in recruiting this year. Some more excitement is out there about to happen. It's going to keep going up.
Yeah.
It's going to keep growing. And then you go out there and say you go 8-4, 9-3, or 9-4 with a bowl win or whatever, you get to that 8-win mark. I think Auburn, they've arrived. And I think going into next season, we could be sitting here talking about college football playoffs. And that's what that's what we gotta be, man. Like, we gotta get back to doing those things. We're a week out from game day. All right. I'm tired of sitting here. Since me and Dustin have been doing this, I'm tired of sitting here talking about how Auburn sucks. All right. It gets old. It's not fun. It's not enjoyable. I love Auburn. So, yeah, we love to do it, right? But I'm sitting here, I'm tired of sitting here saying, man, Auburn lost this game and we shouldn't have lost it. I'm tired of sitting here after just that gut-wrenching loss to Ole Miss last year, sitting down and saying, Dustin, we shouldn't have lost that game, man. Like, they're going to win 10 games. Their fans are going to dog us. And we shouldn't have lost the game. I'm sick of coming in here and talking about how Auburn goes 6-6 or 5-7. It's not fun anymore. And I'm ready for Saturday. I think this team is going to give us a lot of fun memories and things to talk about. And I'm with Dustin. I think next offseason, we're going to be full head of steam, man. We're going to have so much fun on this channel. And Auburn's they're getting back, man. They're slowly getting back. So hang with us. It takes a minute to come up out of the mud, right? Like, Tennessee was in the mud for 20 years. So it takes a minute. And I think Auburn's on their way. I just don't want to turn into a Nebraska, Dustin. That's the only thing I ask. Don't turn into a Nebraska. And I think Hugh Freeze sees that.
Yeah, don't turn into what Tennessee was in that
Yeah.
nice 12 to 15-year stretch where they were trying to find their footing again.
Yeah.
Ryan, welcome to the
Let's
family,
go.
baby. Ryan becomes a member Up Tempo again. We appreciate you, buddy. Hope you enjoy all the content. As soon as we hit end right here, I will be hopping over and making another member pod for you guys. So we stay pumping them out, baby.
Yep.
Big week, big week. So Tuesday night, like I said, Tuesday night kickoff special. A lot of big time guests loaded up. Members, get your questions in that group chat on Twitter. And then later on in the week, we'll have our preview for Alabama A&M. Then in the weekend, we'll have our review. So it's here, baby. It's here.
Yep.
We got 3 pods lined up for this weekend. Blake, you got anything before we get out of here, man?
War Damn Eagle. Saturday is back. Let's go have some fun. Like, let's go make it happen, man. I want that feeling back. I want to meet everybody at Toomer's during a big game, week 2, Cal, whoever, man. I want it to be back. I want the energy flowing. I want to be at Mama G's eating the nachos. I want all of that, all of those feels to come back and us go compete for championships here soon. I want us to be in the conversation. I don't want to, be moping around at my job Monday through Friday and just knowing that, we're probably going to lose Saturday. I want to be in that conversation, man, with the greats. And I think that's what Auburn's on the way back to. So look, I love each and every one of you that tune in. I thank just everybody for what you do for this channel. The new members, Ryan, we appreciate you, man. War Damn Eagle for me. Let's get it going Saturday.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And thank you to our new member, Ryan. Thank you to our old members like Tanner, who's been with us since back when we had about 25 subs and we're recording over our phone. We'll never forget you, Tanner. We love you. We appreciate every single one of you that's watching. Please leave a review over on podcast, Spotify, Apple, all that. Leave a 5-star review. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Tell all your Auburn friends that's where they want to be. Tuesday night, 7 p.m. right here at the Up Tempo podcast. It's going to be a party, baby. And this season's going to be a party. War Damn Eagle. I'm going to see y'all Tuesday. I love you. I'm out.
War Damn.